Alright, let's dive deep into this full moon as I promised. So, this full moon is in Taurus. It is the second of 3 consecutive supermoons, meaning the moon sits closer to Earth and it's amplifying every emotional current running through you. Taurus governs wealth, income, material possessions, and the physical world you inhabit, while the sun in Scorpio pulls at the hidden, the buried, and the transformative. You're standing at the crossroads between what you can hold in your hands and what demands to be released into shadow. And Venus, the ruler of this lunation, sits at the apex of a tense T-square with Pluto and Jupiter. And this brings challenges around extravagance, overestimating resources, and the tendency to give too much in hopes of being loved or accepted. There's a painful mix here of the more you reach for validation, the more rejection stings. The more you try to please, the more unacceptable you feel. This isn't about prettying up the wound. This month asks you to walk directly into the fire. All right, let's get into the oracle. So, you're being shown the raw truth of where you've been spiritually breaking down. This isn't gentle. The process of calcination, the first stage of alchemical transformation, burns away what's false, what's been performed, and what you've clung to out of fear rather than truth. Something inside you has been disintegrating for weeks, maybe even months. The full moon throws light on this collapse, and you can't look away anymore. This could be the recognition that a relationship, job, identity, or a belief system no longer fits. You've been holding on because letting go felt like losing yourself entirely, but what's being revealed now is that the structure was already crumbling. You're just finally seeing it clearly. The dark night isn't punishment, it's the stripping away of everything that was never truly you. And yes, it hurts. It's supposed to. And something masculine in nature, an authority, a structure, a way of asserting yourself in the world has reached its peak. This could be a professional role, a relationship with a father figure, mentor, or partner, and a creative project you've been building, or the way you've been showing up as a leader or provider. There's completion here, but it's not necessarily celebration. Atom energy represents the creative force that initiates, that builds from nothing, that establishes order and form. Whatever you've been constructing, whether it's a business, a boundary, a sense of personal authority, or a father role in your own life, has arrived at a culmination point. This is the moment where you see what that creation actually is, stripped of fantasy or projection. And now you have to decide, does this continue to grow or has it fulfilled its purpose? And you're being asked to clear the karmic patterns that keep you looping in the same relational, financial, or emotional cycles. The north and south nodes represent destiny and release, what you're moving toward and what you must leave behind. This full moon is demanding that you let go of the safe, the familiar, and the comfortable patterns that no longer serve your soul's evolution. This might look like ending a dynamic where you play small to keep the peace. It might be releasing the belief that you have to earn your worth through productivity or perfection. It could be cutting ties with a person, place, or version of yourself that belonged to a past timeline. The nodes don't negotiate. When it's time to release, it's time. And the more you resist, the more the universe will push you toward the edge until you finally let go. The full moon brings up intense themes around discipline, time, maturity, and what's actually real versus what you've been telling yourself. Your authentic emotional truth right now is that you're tired. You're tired of pretending things are fine when they're not. You're tired of carrying responsibilities that don't belong to you. You're tired of waiting for permission, approval, or the right time to honor what you need. Saturn doesn't sugarcoat. It shows you where you've been avoiding the hard conversation, the necessary ending, the boundary that needs enforcement. Your feelings aren't convenient right now, and that's exactly why they need acknowledgement. You might be grieving the loss of time, angry at yourself for tolerating less than you deserved, or simply exhausted from holding up a structure that's been cracking for years. These feelings are valid. They're also your compass pointing you toward what must change. And the breakthrough you've gained recently, whether through a sudden insight, a shocking revelation, or a radical shift in perspective, has shown you that you don't have to stay stuck in outdated patterns. Uranus energy is erratic, rebellious, and innovative. You've learned that your genius lives in your willingness to break the mold, to do things differently, and to honor your unique frequency, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Maybe you've realized that your worth isn't tied to how much you produce or how much you please. And maybe you've discovered a creative solution to a problem that felt impossible. Or maybe you've simply woken up to the fact that you've been living someone else's vision for your life instead of your own. This lesson is about liberation. Understanding that ascension isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. And the more you embrace your individuality, the more aligned everything becomes. Now, you've been reclaiming your individuality in a way that honors your wildness, your refusal to conform, your insistence on being exactly who you are without apology. Lilith in Aquarius celebrates that outcast, the truth teller, the one who won't play by the rules that were designed to keep them small. You've made some progress in trusting your instincts over social approval. You've chosen freedom over belonging to spaces that require you to shrink. This is worth recognizing. Maybe you spoke up when you used to stay silent. Maybe you walked away from a situation that once felt impossible to leave. Maybe you started dressing differently, talking differently, or creating differently, not to be rebellious for rebellion's sake, but because you finally gave yourself permission to exist as you are. This is sacred work. The world needs your strange, it needs your edge, it needs your refusal to fit into boxes that were never built for your shape. And let go with devotion. Not devotion to what's leaving, but devotion to your own sacred path. Mary Magdalene represents the divine feminine who stays loyal to truth, to love, and to purpose, even when it costs her everything. She doesn't abandon herself for the sake of keeping others comfortable, and neither should you. Releasing with grace here doesn't mean being passive or nice about it. It means honoring that sacredness of what was while still choosing what's next. If you're letting go of a relationship, acknowledge the love that existed even if it's no longer valuable. If you're leaving a job, honor what it taught you while stepping towards something more aligned. If you're releasing an old identity, thank it for keeping you safe while you weren't ready to be seen. Grace isn't weakness. It's the strength to hold complexity. You can love something and still let it go. And what stays with you is the wisdom gained through patient transformation. Fermentation is the stage where things must sit in darkness, must break down and reorganize at the molecular level before they become something new. You can't rush this. You can't force the wine to mature faster. You have to trust the process and let time do its work. The gift that endures is your deepened capacity to hold discomfort without collapsing into urgency. You've learned that not everything needs to be fixed, solved, or understood immediately. Some things need to steep. Some truths need to age before they reveal their full meaning. This patience, this willingness to let things unfold rather than forcing outcomes, is the foundation you're building on. It will serve you in every area of your life moving forward. And the beaver moon traditionally marks the time when animals prepare for winter, building what they need to survive the cold months ahead, and you're being called to do the same. As you move through the waning period and into the rest of November, ground yourself in the physical. Return to your body, return to earth, return to the simple, tangible acts that nourish and sustain you. This isn't about grand spiritual revelations right now. It's about cooking a real meal, taking a walk, touching grass, feeling your feet on the ground. Adama is Mother Earth herself, fertile, nurturing, endlessly patient. She reminds you that rest isn't laziness, it's preparation. Integration isn't stagnation, it's the necessary pause before the next cycle of growth. And mid-month brings a series of grand water trines involving Venus, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, channeling deep emotional healing and meaningful connection into your life. But you can only receive that if you slow down enough to notice it. Let yourself be held by the earth. Let yourself be still. And let yourself remember that you are nature, not separate from it. And just like the seasons, you're allowed to rest. So the month ahead asks you to stop running from the fire and let it refine you. This Taurus full moon stands at the crossroads of having and not having, security and transformation, the material and the mysterious. What you build now, through release, through honoring your truth and through patience, will be what carries you through the winter. Not everything needs to survive, but what remains will be real, and that's worth everything. All right, that is what I have for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below how you plan on nurturing yourself throughout the month of November.